Okay, that's us on. Hi guys, just back for another podcast with Brandon, looking ahead to the weekend's games of the round three of the Six Nations. We're just gonna go through them one by one. At the moment, we know three of the teams that are out: the France team, which was announced on Tuesday, Scotland team, and England team, which have just been announced in the last hour or so. The Welsh team might be will the all the other teams we're guessing will have been announced by the time this recording goes out. So yeah, we'll just go through each game. How you doing, Brandon?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Looking forward to a great weekend of rugby.
Yeah, and yeah, so no doubt, hopefully for a winning one from a Welsh perspective, which
Well, yeah, for sure.
but,
Biggest game for us, biggest game.
yeah,
But yeah, looking forward to it.
we'll get onto that. I think we'll just go through them. Start with France Scotland game. The teams are just out. France have gone for the more probably the best the selection that makes most sense so far. The Six Nations gone for the team on form in terms of the Toulouse halfbacks and Ramos at fullback. Pack more or less the same as the one that started against Wales, bar their tight head prop and Lambie in the second row. And what are your thoughts in France for?
Well, I think it's really good to see that Dupont and the young fly half Ntamak has been given a shot. Be really interesting to see how they go from the start, because against England, Dupont came on and had an effect when maybe the defence was a little bit more tired. Ntamak at 10, really exciting to see how he goes. Toulouse have been the informed team in France over this season and in the Champions Cup as well. And at home, you never know with the French really. At home, they could be brilliant or they could be poor. But I think it's really good that Jacques Brunel has finally decided to drop Para. I don't think he'd done that much in this year's tournament at all.
I think there's more to it than just him not doing that much. Because both him and Lopez were the main culprits for speaking out, and both of them have been axed from the whole 23. So
Oh wow!
so yeah, no, I think that has played a bigger part, I'd argue, than their form, which because I think Lopez has been doing okay enough to justify a place on the bench, but he's not even on the bench. So I'd say it's because of their words against the coaches why they're not considered. So yeah, but yeah, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see how Dupont goes. I think he's a fantastic scrum half, but can he do it from the start of the match? That's what we're going to find out, obviously.
Yeah,
And yeah, Scotland are quite an athletic, quite quick side, so I don't know
we've done well.
how.
We've done well to get a team together this weekend.
Yeah, yeah, so many
but
injuries. How many injuries?
all to
It's like 18 injuries.
Yeah, so
Is it something
no, I mean
like that?
at least half of our regular first team are on the treatment
Yeah,
table right
yeah.
now, and Richie Gray's still coming back to fitness with Toulouse, so he's not ready yet to be considered. But yeah, the rest of I mean, it's like half the first team out, and Josh Strauss had a bit of an incident. Yesterday or the day beforehand, where he lost his passport and he couldn't get a
Yeah, I
replacement.
heard about this.
He couldn't get a replacement in time, but they've managed to get him to travel out anyway. So I was like, I mean, when I first heard that, I thought that's a joke, right? That's and then it was serious. So I was like, oh, thank God he's traveling. But yeah, because we don't really have any other options at 8 right now. So
No.
yeah, but our team is out right now. Going for Peter Horn at 10. Which I thought does surprise me a bit. I thought he might have gone for Adam Hastings, even though Adam Hastings hasn't earned his place in the team right now, because since November, I thought he was starting to climb up a bit in terms of getting better as a player, but since November he's just slumped right down. He had 2 games against Edinburgh where he was absolutely shocking, and against Saracens in the pool game, he wasn't very good either. And Brandon Thompson, the South African guy's been the informed 10 for Glasgow at the moment anyway. And Peter Horn was man of the match for Glasgow against against the Blues, pardon me, last week. So I think that would be why he's at 10, and I'd say he's a solid option. Of course, he's more of a 12 than a 10, but he's a solid option at 10. He can play. Going for Nick Grigg at 13, which doesn't surprise me terribly, because Gregor Townsend knows him. I mean, I thought it would be Chris Harris, but Nick Grigg is in instead. I'm not a big fan of his. I don't think he's stepped. The games I've seen him in the international stage, I don't think he stepped up well enough. But he does pretty well for Glasgow usually. So I'm hoping he can bring his Glasgow form up a level. And Magnus Bradbury back at 6 as well, which I'm very happy about because I thought he had a very good game against the Dragons and he's got a very bright future for us. So I think we've probably picked as close to the best team we have available at the moment. And I'm glad also Gregor's listening to me about picking Darcy Graham in the 23. He's finally on the bench. And I repeat saying this, another one to watch out for in the future. So like I say, I mean, I think that's probably as good a team as we can pick at the moment. But if we're with all the injuries, just it's not been a good time for us the past couple of weeks. So, but I think this team is good enough to topple France, who again look like a bunch of individuals. But in Paris, as we're both saying, you never know. The French could turn it on, and could have a chance. What do you think?
Yeah, I think obviously injuries are really unfortunate. You'll definitely miss Finn Russell, who, is, in my opinion, is one of the best 10s in the world at the minute, attacking wise. And as I said to you on the last podcast, I think it was, that him going to France, I think, really benefited him.
Didn't benefit him last week.
Yeah. Oh,
the weekend. Didn't benefit him at the weekend. He knocked out about, I think it was half an hour in or something, and. I'm still a bit annoyed at Racing for playing him, but it's part of the regulation rules. It is what it is, But so that's pretty annoying. But I do agree with you in general. Though I think as we've discussed before, is him going to Racing's definitely made him a better player. He's still got a bit of a way to go, but I think he is, certainly developing very well. So will be a miss for us, but hopefully. Peter Horn can step in his place and at least do a solid enough job, which I think he can do. What are your thoughts on Peter Horn at 10?
Peter Horn, it's obviously between him and Hastings. Hastings, as you said, has not been in an amazing form of recent times.
Pretty shocking,
Yeah, and he's really an exciting talent, isn't he? But how old is he now? Is he in his early 20s? Is he 22, 23?
23, I think, I think long term he is definitely our first choice backup to Finn at 10, but he's still got a lot of learning to do, and he's still, got like I said, that's just it really. He's just still got a lot of learning to do, both in the club and in the international stage. And like I said, his confidence isn't high right now because he's not been playing that well. So, if he does come on, I'm not sure he will come. He's on the bench, but I'm not sure he will come on because wouldn't surprise me if the last 20 minutes Gregor Townsend goes for Ali Price to replace either Horn or one of the centres, and Greg Laidlaw moves to 10 like we did last year against France, and we closed the game out with that. So again, that wouldn't surprise me at all, but we'll see what happens there. What are your thoughts on the rest of the Scotland team or in France team in general?
I was thinking about Hastings there, that if he plays and he has a bad start and the French crowd gets on his back and he could all get to him because he's so young and inexperienced. But I think the start of the game is going to be key. Who starts well? If France start well, then the crowd gets with them. They've got the crowd on their side, but we know that the French crowd can turn so quickly on their own team. So if Scotland start well, get a good start, maybe get an early try, then settle the nerves of everyone. Crowd gets on the French's back, and then you can push on from there. But obviously with your injuries, if you are at home and you didn't have as many injuries, I back you to win by 15, maybe even 20 points because France are that bad at the minute. But with all these injuries, I'm now not so sure.
I still think we can do it because I think collectively we've still got a decent unit. Again, I think it's as you say, it's like timings of the game. I think actually if we're still in it in the last 20 minutes, I think we could do it because I think we're definitely fitter than the French team are, and I think we play definitely a faster game than them generally. So if we can. Play at pace and not give them any cheap points or any cheap possession at all, and we can definitely move their big forwards around and catch them off guard in the last 20 minutes hopefully. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, I think as I agree with you. The start is key. We need to make sure we're, at least level with them. But I think if it's like that going into the second half, I think we can definitely do it. Because again, I don't back this French team's fitness. I think collectively, even though they've gone for a mostly Toulouse backline and they've been the form backline in the top 14, I still am not wholly convinced about them putting an 80-minute performance in. On Hastings, though, I am kind of glad he's not starting because I know Bastereau would have a field day going down his channel. So yeah, from that sense, I mean, I think his confidence would be just shat on even more. So I'm glad, kind of happy with that. But we'll see how the game goes. I think if we're cruising, which I'm not expecting us to be, but if we're cruising in the second half, I think Hastings will come on. But if not, I think Gregor will go for the Laidlaw Price 9-10 axis. But we'll see. That's what I think is going to happen anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it will be a really close game. And yeah, I think you'll have to target and Tamak, run at him, try and hit him, and go over him.
Well, we don't have so much the power players to do that. I mean, we've got good carriers in the team, but we've got no one that can seriously, when they carry, just absolutely smash through. Like, because France, they have obviously Pickamoles and Bastereau who can do that for them. But I think if we can. We can definitely unsettle him. Definitely make sure he's under pressure. Go down his channel. Just make sure he's like, you're not going to be in for an easy game. And if we can do that, I think we can definitely unsettle him because he's a talented player, but I'm still not convinced by him at the highest level yet. So we'll see there, and hopefully I'd take out a leaf out of England's book with regards to the kicking game as well. I think because both France's wingers push up quite highly and England expose that, but I think at the same time I expect Ramos and Dupont to be covering the back field a lot better than Para and Uge did against England. But but still, if we can get the kicking game right, we can cause them problems. I think so. That's going to be another key area. Scrums, to me, as long as Scotland are getting parity, I'm happy enough. Which I think we can do, and. If not, and they just their big pack just gets on top of us, we'll have problems. So that's one area I think we need to make sure we're stable at, and the breakdowns as long as we're giving the platform to the backline as well. So that's what I think. So what are your predictions for the score?
I think it's going to be really, really close. As I said, I think the beginning is going to be really, really important to the match, but I am going to back Scotland. I think he'll win by 5 to 8 points. I think he'll win by 5 to 8 points. I do. I think it'll be close for about 60 minutes, and then the French will do some mistake or something like that, or they'll get a yellow card. And I do back you to win this one. What about you?
I'd say roughly the same. I'm going for a closer score. I'd say about 3 to 7. So that's my thoughts there. I think. As I said, I think if it's tight or we're ahead in the last 20 minutes or so, I think we should have enough to do it as long as we keep the ball and we're not don't give away anything stupid. Because that's another, as well as like their big forward pack, as long as we're getting parity, and that's another area that does concern me is if we make too many stupid errors and give them cheap points, because like we did against Ireland. So we need to make sure we're cutting that out, and if we do that, I think we can definitely win. Let's move on to another game. It's not very important. It's like the least important game of the 3 at the weekend. Wales England. So I'll let you take the floor with this one.
It doesn't really matter what happens in this game, does it? It doesn't matter. No. It's not like the whole country's watching. No, this game every year, it's the biggest game of the Six Nations for me. And as a Welshman, you could be concerned about how we've played so far in the tournament. Let's be honest, we've only maybe had half an hour of decent rugby where we've looked like a good side. But against England, we always raise our game to a certain level. And it's going to be really, really tough. And the Welsh team hasn't been announced yet, but it'll be interesting to see who Gatland goes for at 10, either Anscombe or Biggar. I made a video on my channel about who I would pick, and I said Anscombe because I think that against England we're going to have to score tries to win. I know it sounds stupid because you need tries in rugby to win, but we've got to go for it against England. We can't bully them physically. They're just too big, too powerful, too good at that. We're going to have to score tries. England, on the other hand, extremely confident. Their kicking game has worked really well, but I don't think we will be as naive as the French were.
No.
Or we will have Liam Williams at fullback. Halfpenny is a doubt for it, and I don't think he'll be fit.
No, it's been confirmed he's not going to be playing. So, yeah. But I don't think you should be too. I mean, I want to say I don't think you should be too worried. But again, a lot of it depends on how accurate England's kicking game is. Because to be fair, in both their games so far, it's been like all basically on the money. So yeah, but I think in general, I think Liam Williams will do an okay job for you in that department. But as I say, it just depends on the accuracy of England's kicking game. Like if they put likes of Williams or North or whoever's back there into awkward positions, then it could be a tough day. But yeah, and I wanted to talk to you about your team selection actually, because there's a couple of interesting ones that stood out for me. I mean, I fully agree with you on Anscombe starting, not just because mainly not just because Dan Biggar was injured last weekend, but I mean it's not a serious one. He's expected to be at least on the bench, but also because Anscombe did a better job against Italy than Biggar did in the whole game, and Biggar just kicked the ball away a lot. So I agree, like having a more attacking 10 will keep the England defence guessing a bit more, because they like to play the high defence, the high rush defence. So if you have Biggar, it's fairly predictable what he's going to do. He's going to stand fairly deep and either give it to the forwards or the centre to chunk it up, or he's going to hang it up in the air. Whereas Anscombe, he'd give the England a bit more thinking to do. He'd put them on their toes. So I think that would be a sensible selection. But I do want to pull you up on your selections of Corey Hill at 4 and the back row. You've gone for Navidi over Wainwright, which I thought was interesting, and Watkins at 12 over Hadley Park. I expect Parks to start, but I want to know what your thoughts are on those three.
So Hadley Parks, first of all, as I said in my video, I don't think he's actually done that much in the autumn and in this campaign. I don't feel like he's obviously more experienced than Watkin, but I thought when Watkin played against Italy, he played well, and for the Ospreys over the last year, he's been playing really well. So I think Watkin is a better option, but then you lose that partnership that John Davis and that Hadley Parks have from the Scarlets, and this partnership has been built over the 2 years, you could say. So I could understand people wanting Hadley Parks, and I do expect Gatland to go with Hadley Parks, but I would like to see Watkin in. Navidi, I think we need Navidi's physical ability, his defensive ability against England, and I just think he offers more defensively than Wainwright. And I think this game's maybe a bit too big for Wainwright in this one, maybe.
No, I'd expect him to be on the bench at least.
Yeah, on the bench. I'd 100% put him on the bench, but I would start with Navidi. Corey Hill, I thought he came off against France and had a good impact. Adam Beard has done okay. He hasn't done anything particularly amazing. He's a good option when there's a driving maul and he can disrupt that. And, at the line out, he's a good option. But I think Corey Hill has done really well when he's come off the bench. But I think Gatland will go with quite a steady team, a team that he's picked a lot. There won't be many changes. I'd expect the back three to be exactly the same with Liam Williams, North and Adams. And it'll be interesting to see who goes at 9, Gareth Davis or Thomas Williams. I think he'll go with Gareth Davis.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same.
And I would personally go with Gareth Davis as well. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I generally agree with most of what you said there. I mean, I'm not sure about the line-out option with Beer, because your line-out's not been functioning that well, the Six Nations. I don't think it's been particular thing. I think it's just been a combination of like bad throwing, bad communication, and not getting it right with the jumper, etc. From what I've seen. But I think another interesting choice, which a few of your fellow Welshmen have been saying on forums, is because Jake Ball's back fit now. He played for the Scarlets last week, so and I commented on your video on this. What about him as an option? Would you have him back on the bench, or?
Yeah, I'd have him on the bench. I wouldn't start him though. I think he's a fantastic option off the bench, a very powerful, strong player. But he hasn't played at all in this year's Six Nations, and I think just to throw him straight in,
He's not played.
would
He's
be
not
maybe
played
a
for
bit.
Wales in a while, to my knowledge, has he?
No, no. I think I can't remember if he was injured in the autumn or if he just wasn't picked. I got a feeling he wasn't picked. I got a feeling, I'm not sure though. But I personally wouldn't start him. I'd put him on the bench. Very, very powerful, decent in the line-outs as well. He's a good player, but I wouldn't start him against England. And yeah, I just wouldn't start him. I'm so nervous, I can feel it now.
Yeah, but what I was going to say, is he still doing the competition with Josh Strauss for the big beards, or has he given that up now? I've not seen him play in a wee while, to be honest with you. But
I can't remember. I didn't watch the Scarlets game, so no, I don't know.
But no, I think yeah. I mean, I think Gatlin will stick with Beard and Hill, either starting or on the bench. I expect both of them to be at least in the 23, and alongside Alan Wynne, of course. Because so that's just, I think Gatland is going to play it pretty safe with what he knows. I think apart from at scrum half, where I agree it will be Gareth Davis, I'm not. I mean, for continuity's sake, I'm not sure. Just because that would mean you've picked 3 scrum halves in 3 different games. But Gareth Davis, I think at the moment is possibly your best option. I mean, Thomas Williams, I think he could be he would be a good option off the bench possibly, but yeah, I expect it to be Davis. I'm not sure if I'd pick him though, because there are still like things about his game, like his passing is still average at best for that level. He has a renowned reputation for being slow at delivering the ball from the base as well. I mean, he's a good sniping 9, but apart from that, he doesn't. And he can defend sometimes, but apart from that, he doesn't offer all that much, I don't think. I mean, I might be a bit naive there saying that, but that's just from what I've seen of him. Yeah, I agree with you. I expect him to be starting, and I do expect it to be Hadley Parks. I think Owen Watkin, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a place on the bench, because I think he's earned his place in the 23. But and he did well against Italy, but again, a big difference in opposition coming up against England, and Gatland being who he is, I expect him to go with the think option and what he knows. So, but Owen Watkins, I think, could be on the bench, and he'll have earned his place there. I think back row, I think he'll be the same. I think I was thinking about this. I think Ross Moriarty at 8 will be key against Billy. It's kind of an interesting one because it's like power for power. You've got like 2 like bruising number 8s going up against each other. So that'll be an interesting battle, definitely. But have you got anything else to add on Wales, or?
No, I don't think so. But yeah, quite nervous.
Understandably. I mean, the England team's just been announced. No big surprises, of course, with Chris Ashton and Mako Vunipola injured. Straight swaps there. Ben Moon comes in at loosehead prop for Mako, and on the wing, Jack Noel just slots straight back in for Chris Ashton. So that was also the expected changes. On the bench, Brad Shields and that... Can you pronounce his name? That Joe...
Cockanasinga.
Joe Cockanasinga, yeah, he's back on the bench. So those are the England changes to play you guys on Saturday. What are your thoughts there?
Well, yeah, no shock with Noel coming in for Ashton. Obviously, Toje is out again. He's not ready for this match. And then Mako's out. Mako is out. He's been England's, I would say, one of England's best players so far.
Yeah, I agree.
Against Ireland, I think he put in like 18 tackles or something.
23.
Crazy like that. 23, sorry, which is even crazier. And yeah, he had such a big impact. I'm not surprised that Eddie Jones has gone for continuity. Why change something that's worked so well? My only argument for England would be, they've faced Ireland, but Ireland didn't play well at all, let's be honest. Even though England were brilliant, don't get me wrong, Ireland didn't play that well. Against France, France were awful, so they haven't really had a test. And coming to Cardiff with the roof closed, 74,000 crazy Welsh people screaming at you, makes it a bit different. and I think we will raise our game for it.
Mm-hmm.
Owen Farrell's going to be key. We have to try and disrupt him if it's even possible, because I hate to say it and I hate the guy, but he's a great player.
Yeah,
He's a really good player. Same as Ben Youngs. And yeah, we need to try and not give them silly possession. We have to be very, very disciplined, because Farrell's going to kick from anywhere, and you've got Daly as an option to kick as well if they have a chance, maybe halfway. If it's tight, they can obviously kick. And yeah, it's going to be very, very physical and very, very close, I think. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about Ireland, and I mean, France were bad, but I don't know about Ireland. I didn't actually think Ireland were all that bad against England. I just thought England outsmarted them. I mean, Ireland, they looked a bit rusty in many places, but I think England's kicking game and their defence was just so on the money and just so crisp and so good that Ireland just didn't know how to handle it. And I think it's going to be. I think it could be, England will play fairly similarly against Hughes. I've no doubt they'll look to use their kicking game to put your back three into awkward positions and to put you under pressure and get field position. I expect their defence both. It's going to be an interesting one because both defend very similarly. I expect you to be. Pardon me. I expect the defensive battle to be interesting, and I think it will come down to. I mean, I agree it's going to be a close game, and I think it's going to be small margins that decides it. I think it's going to come down to one missed tackle or one loose kick or one moment of genius from either side. I think it's going to decide it. But I am going to slightly back England just on form. Sorry, man, just on form. But I do think Wales will definitely be better than you were in your first two games. But I do expect England just to have a wee bit too much for you, just on form.
Sorry, it's. I mean, my heart is screaming out Wales, obviously, and yeah, as you say, I think we will be much better because it's England, because we have to be.
And it's Cardiff as well.
Said against it. Yeah, and Gatland said against Italy, if we play like we did against Italy, it could be embarrassing against England.
It will be, yeah.
So I do expect to be better. It's going to be so close. I'm going to back Wales because I'm Welsh. So my heart says Wales. My head is leaning slightly towards England. But I'm going to stay with Wales, and I'm going to say we're going to win by 3 points. I'm just putting it out there now.
Go for it, man. Go for it. Because I had Joe on. You saw the podcast with Joe I had the other day, and he was backing Wales by 9, and I thought, really, okay. So
wow.
he's an Irish fan, so
Yeah.
But I mean, no, I think England will win by about 3 to 5 or 6 points, but I think it'll be similar to the game a couple of years ago, where it'll be like I said, nick and tuck, and it'll be one moment here or there that will decide it. But again, with England, how well England are playing, I expect them to be a bit too much. But I think you will give it at the very least a good enough account of yourselves to get at least a bonus point, I'd say.
And I think the start of the game again is going to be key. England have scored within the first 3 minutes in each game so far, and we just can't afford to start poorly and let England get their tails up. If we can get an early score and get the crowd going, and the pressure's on England, and when we put a high ball up and they're under pressure to catch it, we need to put pressure on them. And if you let England play their game, they're going to win. So we have got to make sure that we start well, we're disciplined, and I think we just throw the ball about, because that is what we're good at now. So why are we going to, if we try and bully them up front, it's not going to work. So I really hope we don't try and do something like that.
That's going to be key with your defence as well, when you're up against likes of Billy and Manu. If you can stop them behind the gain line, or at the very least on the gain line, I think you can definitely get a big boost from that, and that'll be something that I think could rattle England a bit, because there'll be, and no doubt there'll be moments, especially when if you're defending really well, where they'll just be looking to get over the gain line, be looking to get the big bashers in, and if you can stop them at least on the gain line, that'll give you a lot of confidence. So that'll be key, I think, just making sure you're stopping their power men and making sure that you're tactically smart as well, and not giving away anything cheap or any silly points away. So I think that's how you got to win. And your kicking game, I think, has to be on par with how England's kicking game's been as well. Because I don't think defensively this back three of England has been severely tested greatly. I think Elliot Daly's a fine enough attacking fullback, and he's done well under the high ball, but defensively, 1-on-1, I've not really seen him tested greatly so far. So I'll be interested if he can do that. So I'm sticking with what I'm saying. Shall we move on to Italy against Ireland?
Yeah.
Don't have to spend too long on this one if you don't want to. No disrespect to either team, but I expect Ireland to win, of course. But there's talks about them making a few changes. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do. I don't know if Sexton's going to be fit for this one, but if not, Carberry, it'd be interesting to see if he started.
Yeah, Sexton will be fit.
Him a go. He will be fit. But I still wouldn't be shocked if Schmidt decided to go with Carberry, because, let's be honest, Ireland, even with their second team, you'd expect them to go and beat Italy quite comfortably.
Well, I don't know, man. They again, you picked a second team against them a couple of weeks ago, and you got, they gave you a bit of a hard time. So I think they will make a few changes, but I don't think it'll be as much as you made a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I do expect like them to keep the basic backbone of the team more or less together, and they'll change a few things here and there. But I don't expect a radical amount of changes. But I think as you say, I think Ireland are going to be comfortable 20 points winners. What about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Ireland to win. Unfortunately for Italy, it's at the Aviva, isn't it?
No, it's in Rome. It's in.
Oh, it's in Rome.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah, that could make it a bit interesting. But again, I'd expect Ireland to win quite comfortably, to be pretty close, maybe for 50 minutes, 60 minutes, maybe, and then for Ireland to pull away. It'd be interesting to see if Carby does get a chance off the bench or starts. Obviously, how he goes, as you say, thinking about it, he probably will come off the bench. If Ireland are winning by 15 to 20 points with 50 minutes gone, then he will come on, they'll wing the changes and things like that. But yeah, Italy, unfortunately, I just don't think they will have much. And Ireland's defence is strong. They're built on their defence. And going forward, they have some great attacking players. So I think it's going to be a tough afternoon for Italy.
They've lost Sergio as well. That news came through today. He's missing for them. So that's a big blow for Italy. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know you still like say with the 50 minutes you play Italy and then you pull away at the end. I mean, I'm not as sure about that anymore. I think I still think Ireland will be too good. But in the first two games, Italy have shown they can play for 80 minutes. I mean, not compete. They're not at the same level as Scott. They weren't at the same level as Scotland or Wales were, of course. But they could at least fitness-wise, they could stick with them for most of the game. It was just both teams they were up against better teams for the most part. I think I expect similar here. I think Ireland will be too good, but I think Italy will keep at it for 80 minutes. But again, I think as we say, we're both agreeing that Ireland are going to win for certain. And yeah, that's just all. And it's a big blow, obviously, Italy losing Sergio Parisse. So that'll be. I don't know how much that's going to affect them. Might do, but no, it will do. Sorry, but that's see how that goes for them.
Yeah, and I'm going to say Ireland by 15 to 20 points, maybe a bit more. And yeah, obviously Sergio Parisse, losing him is a huge blow. Let's hope he's fit to face France in the final game. Yeah, because I believe they've got a decent chance in that game. So it'd be lovely for them to obviously get a win.
Yeah.
But against Ireland, unfortunately, they're not going to get it here.
No. I think we're both in agreement as well. Like, if Italy can go into that last game against France with a bit of confidence, a bit of momentum builds, even though again, clearly they're not going to beat Ireland or England, but if they can go into the last game against France with some confidence, they'll have a really good chance in that one at home as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or?
No, I think that's it. I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, perfect. I think we'll call it. Okay, we'll call it there then. Nice having you on again as always, Brandon, and we'll chat after the weekends. Hope we'll have a good weekend, guys, and that's give best luck to all the teams except for France. From my point of view,
And England, and England, and England.
Aye. Yeah, I'll have a red shirt under my Scotland shirt at the weekend, so I'll be. Yeah, I will be back. Us Celts have to stick together, so I will be behind Wales. But again, I think England are going to be a wee bit too much. But
yeah, be close. We'll be close.
yeah, but yeah, like I said, nice having you on again, man. We'll chat over the weekend and take care of yourself. I'll just switch off now.
Yeah.
All the best, guys.
Okay, see you.
Right, take care. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.